So, what is a slasher? A slasher is someone with a knife. He skulks around alleys waiting for someone to be close enough. When they are, he strikes!
No! We shan't be having any of your stories this year, Edward. It puts everyone on edge and then something always happens. Sounds like you're scared, Gordon. Oh, please, the only demons I'm scared of is you lot.
Okay, no stories, I promise.
But beware, Gordon. Without a warning of a slasher story, they might get you.
Oh, shut up! This is just like Edward's ghosts, werewolves and mummies. Mummies aren't scary. They're quite sweet. Miss Kindly's a motherfucker. Not those ones! Anyway, so we agreed to no stories about slashers. Ouch! Oh dear, are you okay, Bertie? Oh no, I'm not. It's my poor aching tyres. They're bad enough by themselves without these holes in the road. You should get them repaired. I've been made to wait. I'm not the only one with bruised tyres. They said it'll take a week. A week? In that case, you should be resting. Oh, I couldn't do that. Then you'd be stuck with both.
Ah, there you are, Bertie. I heard about your incident with a slasher last night. You're lucky to still be in one place. In fact, you're lucky to be here at all. Oh yes, you got off very lightly.
A slasher? Thomas said there was a killer about. A killer? Percy, there's no...
Escape from the slasher, or he hates the rails and it'll get you all in the end.
The slasher's not interested in...
keeping any of you alive, no matter what you promise him. And you'll never know if he's after you till it's too late.
Bulgy? What a load of...
noise he makes before the kill. It's horrible. Would you like to know what it sounds like, Percy? It sounds just like this.
Oh dear! I can't stay in the chat. Must be on my way.
Now, little Edward, do you notice something tonight?
What?
Well, it's a few days before Halloween, it's gotten a bit misty, and yet everyone here is calm. You know why that is?
They're bored by you?
No, little Thomas. It's because Edward didn't tell one of his stupid stories. No one's tense or panicking. So thank you, Edward, for...
There's a slasher on the loose!
Oh, for God. Edward, can you not go one...
It's not a story! Bertie was attacked and we're next! Bertie was lucky to be alive! Rubbish! That silly little boss doesn't know anything! That silly little bus is my friend. So you think there's a terrifying killer on the loose, do you?
Don't forget a killer who's after us engines.
Well, I don't necessarily think... But there is! He makes a horrible noise before attacking!
Percy, the only horrible noise around here is you. Now be a good engine and be quiet.
Are you sure that's what Bertie said? I mean, you did think there was a fire-breathing dragon around here once. If you don't want to believe me, that's fine. But don't come running to me when he gets you. Next morning, Gordon thundered along with the express.
That's silly, Percy, he grumbled. He does seem to get scared at anything. Well, I could blow my whistle and he'd be shaking like a leaf. Just you watch. What on earth is that horn about? Better not be Bertie.
But it wasn't. As Gordon got closer, he saw a lorry stuck in the middle of a crossing, blocking Gordon's line.
What's this? Cause mayhem day?
Gordon crawled to a stop and waited for the truck to be moved. He waited, and he waited, but nothing happened. Then Gordon saw Butch parked nearby.
What are you moping around there for? Kindly get this car out of my way.
He called over. Butch just blushed. I can't. I was out late last night and thought I'd park up here rather than go home. But now look what's happened to me. I can't move.
Why ever not?
Haven't you been told? There's a slasher about. I should have listened to Bulgy. He said the same had happened to Bertie.
Gordon was horrified. Then Percy was right. Well, bust my buffers.
As it got darker, both Gordon and Percy became very nervous. Can't stop. Won't stop. Mustn't stop. What is that?
It's the slasher, Percy.
Does it sound like me?
You like how I've stolen?
Stolen?
If you don't believe me, try to speak that out. Go on.
I can't. It won't come out.
Oh! What's that? Please leave me alone. Be any one of them. They're all lying in wait.
By the time they returned to the sheds, they were nervous wrecks. James was especially confused. What's up with you, Gordon?
Percy was right. Butch had been gotten by the slasher too.
I told you there was a killer on the loose. I've seen him, whimpered Percy. The engine shuddered, even James.
So have I.
We'd best let everyone know.
Don't suppose anyone wants to take the tipper tonight.
And it wasn't long before all the engines on Sodor were terrified.
They say you don't have long to run away before it strikes.
Everyone, that is, except Bulgy.
So word truly has spread. This is going to be a very good Halloween.
Who knows? I might be the only one alive by the end of next week. The next few nights, Bulgy crept around wherever he could, and when he saw an engine, he'd give them a fright. Oh! Slowly, Bulgy began to get bored. What I need is a way to scare a load of engines at once.
I think it's time I thank those engines for spreading my story.
That Halloween night, the engines huddled in the sheds. None of them dared to shut their eyes. It's out there somewhere.
Especially tonight. Lots of people dressed up with fake knives. It's a perfect time for
a real killer to be about. Edward tried to be brave for the others, but he didn't feel it. I'm sure there isn't really a killer about. I mean, we would have heard about a murder by now, wouldn't we?
Not if they just made a person disappear.
Well, none of us can disappear, right? There's 6 of us in this shed tonight. If there aren't 6 of us here in the morning, then... Let's all just slowly back into our sheds. Together, the engines slowly backed into their sheds. They were just about to touch the buffers when a glass smashed. Oh! It's here! Out of the sheds! Quickly! Leave us alone! What do you want to get us for? What are you doing? Bulgy?
You moron! You've smashed my lights!
Percy looked through the window and saw Bulgy, with smashed headlights surrounded by some boys with knives in their hands. Way, nice one!
And I got it good and proper.
Told you we'd get more fun from in than messing around with those engines.
To be honest, I'm not sure you can slash the wheels of a train.
That reminds me.
No!
The commotion woke the neighbourhood, who immediately phoned the Fat Controller to complain. By the time he and the policeman arrived, the boys had run away, but scattered around Bulgy were some knives.
Drat, we've missed them. Must have been the vandals I've heard all about.
They're not vandals, sir. They're slashers.
Slashers?
Killers.
Murderers.
Bulgy says that if you hear a bus's honk, they'll kill you if you don't run away. Whilst the engines explained what had happened, the policeman inspected Bulgy for damage. As he did so, he leant on Bulgy's horn.
That's him! That's the slasher! They're going to kill again!
Get me out of this shed! The Fat Controller looked at the engines, and then stared crossly at Bulgy. Am I right in assuming that you're responsible for this horror story? Bulgy could barely speak.
It might have been me.
The engines were very cross. So all this time,
it's just been a silly bus.
The Fat Controller was just about to tell Bulgy what he could do with his horn. When he stopped, he grinned slyly at Bulgy. You're right, Gordon, he is a very silly boss. But sometimes silly bosses are just what's needed.
Sir? I don't quite understand.
Well, clearly they're fond of you. I think you're just the kind of bait we need to catch these vandals.
Bulgy just gulped.
The next night, Bulgy sat prepared but alone in an abandoned yard. It didn't take long till Bulgy saw 3 silhouettes approaching him.
Oh, must be our lucky day. There's our favourite bus.
And look, he's been repaired just for us. Bulgy shivered as the boys slashed one of his tyres. Suddenly there was a loud bang, and the lights of the surrounding engines flashed on. Then, with whistles and honks blaring around, the Fat Controller and a gang of policemen walked up.
Gotcha!
Cried Bertie and Butch. Looks like they won't be causing any more trouble. They're too scared to move. The vandals are soon taken away by the police with the help of Toby and Henrietta. Everyone cheered them on as they headed for the police station. Everyone except Bulgy, who was still in fright from the Big Bang. Well done, everyone. You've all proven that we don't allow vandals to have their way with us. I think we've all earned a good night's rest. With the last triumphant whistle, the engines headed home. All except one.
Hello? I can't move. They've slashed my... Oh, they're not coming back, are they?
The engines returned later that night feeling much calmer. It's weird. There was no slasher. But I saw a figure.
You what?
What's a load of...
I did too. Lots of them. The whole station was full of them.
Well, that doesn't sound real to me.
But it looked as real as you do, Edward.
You know what that is, don't you? What? That was your imagination playing tricks on you.
Excuse me?
Well, none of us had seen it, right? So you imagined what it looked like. I told you it'd chase after you if Edward didn't warn us.
Well, that settles it then.
Settles what?
Edward, please tell us a story every year. It gives our imagination something less scary to focus on.
I'll do my best. The Fat Controller left Bulgy in the yard for weeks. He hoped it would teach him not to take jokes too far. Before long, Bulgy began to feel alone.
Oh, I wish there was someone to talk to. Even one of those engines. Who's there?
You made a story up about me, but you should be careful what you wish for.
Bulgy never found out who the voice belonged to, but he thought it sounded like Percy.